So I thought about breaking up the Asian directors and movies into different countries, a video for each country, but I only have a few Chinese films or Hong Kong films, Indian films, and then only one Korean film. And the rest are all Japanese, of course. So, from west to east, in that style, we're going to start with Indian films. The Opu trilogy. Watching this, it seems like they're saying Opu instead of Apu. But yeah, these are the only films I have by Satyajit Ray. The first one being Pater Panchali, Aparajito, and Apur Sansar. So this is a trilogy following our hero Apu. And during Asian and Pacific Heritage Month, the Turner Classic Movie Channel had a bunch of other Satyajit Ray films that I recorded and have yet to watch. But these movies, Turner Classic Movies had they did a thing with this filmmaker, a black woman, where she would recommend some movies and then talk about them with different folks at Criterion. Sometimes Ben Mankiewicz and others for other movies. And she recommended like Dog Day Afternoon and can't remember the others, but she recommended this first one specifically, Pater Panchali. And these movies are they're scored by Ravi Shankar. Is my hair messing up? Scored by Ravi Shankar, and they're really similar to Italian neo-realist films. You know, it feels like real people, although I think there's an older woman in this one. I think she was an actress or actor. That was a boo-boo. Call them what you want, I don't know. But yeah, it really feels like they're using people from the villages that they're shooting in or whatever. So these are really cool, and beautiful cinematography, of course. Can that pick up? There's a still from Pater Panchali. The booklet has a storyboard. Pretty cool. So, I've only seen the first one, to be honest. And I'm a little embarrassed to say that because the first one's so good. I mean, I'd really like to watch more of Ray's movies, but someday I'll get around to it. So let's move on to Hong Kong. Maybe they're considered Chinese, but it seems like they're all in Cantonese. So I know in Hong Kong they speak Cantonese primarily, but here's a twofer, double feature that the Criterion collection offers. Movies by Jackie Chan. He directed both of these. Let's see if he... Okay, so he also wrote the screenplay and starred in them, so that's something I appreciate a lot. And a woman named Maggie Cheung stars in these movies alongside of Jackie Chan. Police Story 1 and 2. Sorry if I didn't give the name, but Maggie Cheung. So that name leads me to this little number, The World of Wong Kar-wai. I'm going to show you how this opens up. Opens up like this. Here's another one of these numbers like I showed you with the Bergman box set. So the book that it comes with, the Wong Kar-wai box set, I'm not a huge fan of because it's not very in-depth, but it does come with photographs from the movies. And I think I'm going to do a Wong Kar-wai box set critique, a review, analysis, whatever you want to call it, but doesn't that look nice? So I don't want to go into too much detail about the movies here, but there are, let's see, there's 7 films in this box set. And I bought this, I think, immediately when it came out because I didn't want it to sell out before I got my hands on one. So those are the only Chinese, Hong Kong movies I have. And the only Korean film I have is Parasite. I saw this movie in theaters, and during the third act there was a couple of middle-aged white women who decided they had the freedom to talk at full volume during the third act of this movie, which is really annoying, but great movie nonetheless. Won Best Picture 2019. There were a lot of good movies in 2019. My favorite did not win Best Picture, nor was it nominated for Best Picture. That movie is The Lighthouse. But anyways, Bong Joon-ho directed this film. Did he write it as well? Yes, he wrote the screenplay as well. Comes with a little sleeve. And then stills from the film. Little booklet. Not too long. 2 discs. And I think the reason they have these little rectangles and circles, shapes. I was trying to think of the word shapes, but I think they did that because of the windows in the house. That's sort of a character of its own in this movie. This is a really good one. Another movie I gotta rewatch because I haven't seen it enough. Just that one time in the theater. Okay, so let's get into Japanese cinema. A lot of movies here I haven't seen, so I'll talk about the movies I have seen first. Starting with Akira Kurosawa. I showed you the Seven Samurai in the first video. This one is Rashomon. It's one of his better known films, Kurosawa's. And it's sort of another tales within a tale, stories within a story. A man's on trial and in feudal Japan, and everyone's giving their account of what went on in this situation that led them to the trial. And only 88 minutes long, from 1950. And the lead actor that Kurosawa used a lot, Toshiro Mifune. Is that his name? Yeah, Toshiro Mifune. One of the only Asian men I've ever seen who can grow a full beard. So that's interesting. Should we continue with the Kurosawas? I thought I had another Kurosawa movie that I guess I don't, but anyways, this little box set, Yojimbo and Sanjuro, and these are the movies that inspired the spaghetti westerns. You know, the drifter rolls into town, and the town's at war with itself, each other. And it inspired The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And when I was 11, when I first got into gangster films, my parents got me a little stack of gangster movies, and one of them was one called Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis. And I think Michael Imperioli's in it. Can't remember who else, but yeah, it's like a western and a mafia movie with the same story. Drifter rolls into town, Bruce Willis, towns at war with each other. It's a western, so I guess that's a kind of funny spaghetti western. A man rolls into this western town that has two different mafia families. I didn't really like it that much, but now that I think about it, that's actually kind of clever. High and Low. I haven't seen this one. It's another Kurosawa film. Still haven't seen it. It's long though. It's 2 hours and 23 minutes. It's from 1963. So yeah, Kurosawa had a lot of long movies, but these are pretty short compared to a Kurosawa film. But yeah, it just takes me I gotta get in the right mood to watch a long film. Okay, let's talk about my Ozu films. Good Morning and Tokyo Story. So that's interesting. A lot of Ozu films have names like early summer, late spring, and that sort of thing. But yeah, I kind of have a thing so far with my watching Ozu films is that when you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all. Maybe they have deeper themes that I need to recognize, but a lot of them are just around a family living in a little village in modern Japan, Tokyo, and it seems like they have the same sets, a lot of the same actors. Okay. Lady Snowblood. There's 2 movies in here, and these are the premiere inspiration that Tarantino took for Kill Bill. These were made in the 70s, samurai films, and one of the things about these is if you watch like anime and you see somebody's neck get spliced, there's blood spewing everywhere. Well, they did that in 70s samurai films, and it's very cool to see that. I like that a lot. So the same thing is this little box set, Lone Wolf and Cub, and there's 2, 4, 6 movies in here. I think the first 2 films were edited together in English to make a Shogun Assassin. I've heard that mentioned in Kill Bill and some Wu-Tang Clan song. But yeah, it's a man carrying a little baby, a samurai carrying a little baby across Japan. I've only seen the first one. And then this one, what is this director's name? Suzuki, Tokyo Drifter by Suzuki. So this is a 60s film. Somebody recommended it. I don't know. It's only 97 minutes long. It's from 1953. I think it's like a ghost story. I'm not sure. A Kenji Mizoguchi film. I don't know. And then this film, Tom Popo. Haven't seen this. It's something about ramen. I don't know it that well. Less than 2 hours, 1985. Looks cool. I guess that's why I got it. I think the guitar player Joey Santiago from the Pixies recommended it. And that reminds me, I have one other Japanese film that I almost didn't include. And that's a movie called Jellyfish Eyes. So, directed by Takashi Murakami from 2013. 101 minutes. And it was recommended by the musical artist Flying Lotus in his Criterion picks at the closet, even though he hadn't seen them yet. He hadn't seen it yet. He just, I don't know. So that's why I got it. And it's a lot like if you could remember Digimon from that whole kids anime era that I grew up in. Kids have digital monsters. That's what Digimon stood for. And they battle them, but you only get one. And these kids in Japan, they all have these big, terrifying monsters, but then this one kid just has this cute little Jigglypuff looking guy. And they battle it out, and it's a lot more of a digital animation than what I like. You know. But it's a cool movie. I mean, I recommend it. Of course, the one, I think my favorite Japanese film is Househoushun from the 70s. I talked about that in the first video, but I'll zoom in on this painting that I did. So that's taken from the movie. There's Blanche, and in another scene her eyes turn green, and then later on in the movie, as it gets weirder, she develops this face that you see on the cover of the box, and then at some point there's a painting of her on the wall that's vomiting blood, and there's a shop on Etsy. I'll put a link to it here, where this guy made some artwork with this actual sequence. So I kind of stole that idea from him. Or her. I think it's a him, though. So, sorry about that. But, you know, I'll put a little link to your Etsy shop. Sorry I didn't buy it. I wanted a bigger one and you didn't have it. But anyways, that's my Asian Criterion collection. And so now I think we're gonna next talk about the English and American films. And that might take more than one video, but thank you for watching.